Greetings and good day, YouTube and Twitch highlight watchers. How are you doing today? I myself am pretty excited to continue where we last left off with the Metal Gear franchise playthrough. This is going to be new for me, because I've never played Peace Walker. I know little about it. I just watched the opening a few moments ago, which is a pretty good opening. Like, not an opening, but like a little in-game, like, hey, this is what the game's you got going on. So, like I said, it's completely new to me. I look forward to hold on. Oh, this is extras. Okay, hold on. Oh, greetings and a good day, Luz Eternal. How are you today? Thank you for becoming a citizen of the kingdom. I very much appreciate it, and I do hope you enjoy your stay. But yeah, I know like nothing about this game, so let's get all into it, you know? Input your player name. You may use 15 uppercase letters, numbers, and or specific symbols. Well, of course, we gotta go for the name, right? Hell yeah. Select your controller scheme, shooter type, control the camera with your right hand. The configuration similar to that of MGS. 4. I'll probably go for MGS 4. Action type, control the camera with the left hand. Configuration similar to MPO. Not sure which one that is. And then Hunter type, control the camera with your left hand. Configuration is similar to that of the Monster Hunter Freedom series. We'll stick with shooter type, because shooter type is what I know and am good with. We'll install essential game data to the memory stick. Do not remove the memory stick. Well, okay. Sure, hopefully it won't take too long. Anyways, yeah, the most I know about this is literally from what I just saw from the opening. New characters introduced, and you shoot lots of robots. So, at least that's what I'm assuming. Selecting data install to install the game data to the memory stick will add sound to in-game radio calls and minimize the amount of time for loading. Yeah, let's this probably will take longer, but I don't. Yeah, 18 to 14. Okay, she probably could have done this off stream. My bad. Oh well. This gives us a moment to basically talk about whatever. This was something I did not anticipate needing to do, but it does make sense that you would need to do it. Okay, maybe it's going to be a little bit faster than that. Currently using, what is it, PPSSPP? Or something like that, emulator for this. And it does look pretty good. I mean, for me, it's kind of funny. For me, some of the words are a bit blurry and stuff like that. Greetings and good day, Urban Orange. How are you today? We're gonna have audio issues and stuff like last time? I hope not. I didn't hear that this was gonna mess up, but hey, like I said yesterday, this might be technical difficulties, the stream. I doubt it, though. So yeah, what have you been up to today, Urban? Do you prefer Urban or do you prefer Orange? I'm doing well. Just chilling. I'm a bit tired because I had a little bit of a bout of insomnia last night, so I only got a couple hours of sleep. So this one will probably be shorter than yesterday's for sure. I don't know if it's going to be 2 hours or 4 hours tonight, but it's going to be a little bit shorter. Well, just making sure. There are some people out there that can be very specific with their names. Understandably so, because sometimes somebody will come up with a name that it could be the stupidest name ever to some people. But to them, it has a lot of meaning. Automatically, sure, should be fine. A single save file will be used. Oh, I always hate when that happens. Deleting the save file may prevent further advancement in the game. Gotcha. The year was 1964. The world was firmly in the grip of the Cold War, divided into East and West. One of America's heroes had defected to the Soviet Union. Oh, so they're going over what happened in MGS 3. She was known as the Boss, the mother of the Special Forces, and the soldiers said to have led the Allies to victory in World War II. However, the American-made miniature nuclear warhead she took with her was used to destroy a Soviet research facility. Facing full-scale nuclear war, the leaders of the world's superpowers held top-secret talks to avert Armageddon. The Soviet Union wanted assurance that this was not the work of Uncle Sam. They wanted America to eliminate one of its most legendary soldiers, the Boss. The person assigned to this mission was her closest apprentice, soldier known as Snake. Snake made the anguished journey into enemy territory, eventually confronting and killing the Boss, a fortress called Groznygrad. Providing America's innocence prevented total nuclear war. Having saved the hero, Snake was hailed a true hero and given the title Big Boss. That's pretty cool. Following the award ceremony, however, Snake disappeared. It's only 4 years after the events of Peace Walker that I think it's 3 years. Not Peace Walker, 3. That the events of Metal Gear occur. But yeah, I do a couple of different accents, but I don't have a German accent. First of all, and second of all, there's nothing inherently wrong with Soldiers Without Borders with accents. It's not how someone says something, it's not what someone says, it's how someone says something. You know what I mean? Steve Bloom.
Boss! Hey, boss! Wanna go around?
So tutorial is this. Oh, that's weird.
Look alive, ladies! The boss is gonna join us! Show him how it's done, boss! Your first priority in enemy territory is knowing your surroundings. Your life depends on where you are looking and how fast you can identify your target. Therefore, you must first master moving your line of sight. To move your line of sight, use the camera buttons. Now, when I give you an order, look in that direction. Look up! Good! Look
Oh,
down.
that's weird.
Good! You should be familiar with the up and down camera buttons now. Press the action button if you're ready to move on.
That needs to be changed.
All right, we'll go over up and down with the camera buttons one more time. Look up!
Is that... Oh, that's something different. This is for the fucking thing.
Good! Look down! Good!
Yeah, I need to change
you should be
that.
familiar with the up and down camera buttons now. Press the action button if you're ready to move on. Okay. Next, we'll check your left and right. Look right.
It's the exact opposite of what I want it to be.
Good. You should be familiar with the left and right camera buttons now. Press the action button if you're ready to move on. Okay. You can change the controls anytime in options.
We're gonna do that immediately.
Go with the method that works best for you.
Not that method.
Next, I'll explain how to change stances. If you just stand there like an idiot in front of an enemy, you might as well kill yourself now. At times, you will need to get low to avoid detection. You have 3 stances: stand, crouch, and lying down. To change stances, use the crouch button. Tap the crouch button to change between standing and crouching. You can move in either stance. Hold the crouch button and keep it held to lie down. However, you cannot move while you are lying down.
That's new.
I'll say that again. You cannot move while lying down. Is that clear? Good. Next, we'll work on your movement. Use the analog stick to move around. Tilt it a little to walk slowly. Tilt it further to run. Decide which to use based on your situation. Remember that your footsteps are louder when running, making you easier to discover. Be careful. Good. Now we have rolling. Rolling is useful for knocking down enemies in your way and for getting away when surrounded.
Oh god, what's the roll gun
use it to
be?
jump over small ditches and other obstacles. To roll, tap the attack button while running. You got that?
There's a part of me that should just skip this
running.
shit, but I'm gonna
Don't
watch
forget
it just to see what the tutorial is like. Analog stick,
Boss,
a tap.
roll by tapping the attack button while running
Oh,
with the
that's
analog
weird.
stick.
That's weird.
That's it! Next, I will explain how to attack without gunfire. You may run into an enemy unexpectedly. You may not have a weapon on you, or you may be out of ammo. You'll still need an effective attack strategy. One well-placed strike and the enemy won't know what hit him. To strike an enemy, press the attack button while standing still. On my command, press the attack button repeatedly and take down your opponent. Go!
I'm ready, boss.
That is incorrect, boss! Fine work, boss! Next, we're gonna practice using the stun rod.
Stun
Hitting
rod?
Someone with the stun rod will shock them with 1.5 million volts. Anyone on the receiving end of that is guaranteed to be out cold. To use the stun rod, press the aim button to ready it, then press the attack button. You'll be glad to know we're using mock stun rods for this training session. When your partner attacks, make him believe it's the real deal. Prepare yourself for stun rod training.
That's a shame they're not using the real deal.
I'm ready, boss.
Fine work, boss! Now we'll move on to CQC. CQC, or Close Quarters Combat, refers to when engaging an enemy in battle at very close range. It is a quick and efficient way of eliminating a threat. There are various CQC techniques. We will go over each of them. Don't get cocky because you think you know them. This will be different from what you're used to. Pretend you are learning it for the first time. The first technique is throwing your opponent. To do this, position yourself near your opponent and press the attack button while you tilt the analog stick. Be sure to press the attack button when the icon appears. Now, wait for my command and throw your opponent. Go!
I'm ready, boss.
There we go.
Impressive, boss! Next, I'm going to teach you how to restrain an opponent close to you.
Hold
This
the
is a cornerstone
PQC
of
button.
CQC. Grab hold of an enemy, and the bastard's life is in your hands. What you do from there is up to you. Just know that if you restrain him for too long, the average person will most likely pass out. Something to keep in mind. Let's begin. To restrain your opponent, hold down the attack button while near them. Restrain your opponent on my command. Go!
I'm ready, boss.
Impressive, boss! Now we will throw
Oh,
your
that's the
opponent
stun rod.
after restraining them. To throw an enemy to the ground, press a direction on the analog stick when you have them restrained. Restrain your opponent and throw them on my command. Go!
I'm ready, boss.
I kind of like that.
Impressive, boss! Now we will try CQC against multiple enemy opponents. You can also take out a group of enemies by throwing an opponent you have restrained. First, restrain an opponent by pressing the attack button near them. Then tilt the analog stick to throw them. By tilting the analog stick toward other enemies, you can send your captive flying straight into them. On my command, restrain and then throw your opponent. Go!
I'm ready, boss.
Fine work, boss! Again! Go!
I'm ready, boss.
Fine work, boss! All right! Why don't we do something special since the boss is here? Anyone who feels like getting their ass kicked, step forward.
So I guess we're
Don't
gonna be the
hold
one doing the
back,
ass
boss.
kicking. Yep.
When you're surrounded by multiple enemies, you'll have to take them on one after the other. To do it, simply press the attack button again while throwing the current enemy. Just be sure to wait for the icon to appear.
That sounds a little bit similar to
I'm ready, boss.
Phantom Pain. I like the little next.
Fine work, boss! Again!
Yeah, that's very similar to Phantom Pain.
I'm ready, boss.
Next. Fantastic! And stop! That's it for today! Thank you, boss!
Kick their asses.
Snake!
What's going on, Kaz?
Ooh.
We've got guests.
Time to move.
Don't worry, it's not our friends from Langley. I brought him. Made sure we won't follow.
Thank you, big boss.
Call me Snake.
Sorry, big boss.
Listen up. For us, there is no victory.
But in revolution, doesn't one triumph or die?
We don't do either.
I kind of like the art
Here.
style.
Thank you.
Oh, he's the bad guy.
I feel like a new man. There's no coffee like Costa Rican coffee. So, what brings a distinguished scholar from the Costa Rican government to Colombia?
Yep, bad guy. Don't tell me if it actually is or isn't.
Costa Rica's University for Peace.
You see, over the past year, there have been sightings of an armed group in Costa Rica. They're not ours, of course.
Costa Rica doesn't have an army.
Correct. Article 12 of our Constitution states that the Army as a permanent institution is abolished.
The Peace Constitution.
You think it's rebels who fled Nicaragua? No, they don't appear to be guerrillas. They're far too organized. What's your government's take? The authorities in San Jose claim it's a multinational security firm, hired by the Development Corporation of Costa Rica. Lies, obviously. They're bringing in state-of-the-art weaponry and equipment by the shipload. Where'd they get that kind of cash? I fear La CIA may be involved.
The CIA.
As you both know, the United States views Central America as its backyard. Even after Cuba, we've managed to maintain a delicate balance with the U.S. And your government can't just give them the boot.
We are not allowed to bear arms.
Japan's constitution has something similar. Article 9. It says Japan renounces war and can't maintain an army.
I understand that you and your men have neither state nor ideology, that you will fight any foe. Please, you must drive them out of our defenseless country. We come to you, the Militaires Sans Frontières.
So, you want to hire us?
Yes, as our deterrent. We can't afford to pay much, it's true. But we can offer you this. A forward operating base. An offshore plant in the Caribbean.
Sounds pretty good to me. This place is becoming a mess anyway. Snake, we need someplace we can settle down.
The governments agreed to cooperate. Unofficially, of course.
A chopper for transport would be nice too.
I'll see what I can do. Hold it. You seem to think we're just a pack of dogs of war. Is that right? Yes, that's what I've heard. You're an army without a state. No, we've only left our countries behind. Please, you must help us. If your suspicions are true, force isn't going to do any good. You'll have to find a political solution. The government's hands are tied. Go back to your bosses in San Jose. Tell them if they want, I'll introduce them to a negotiator I know. No, I'm not here on their behalf. So, what are you doing here? For over 20 years, I've preached the virtues of peace at multiple universities. Tonight, I stand before you as an educator. This is my student. She came to me to study peace. Her name is Paz. Paz Ortega. Paz. Peace.
No kidding. That's my name too. Kazuhira. It's Japanese for peace. Pleased to meet you, Paz. Call me Kaz.
They've got a supply port north of
Kinda
Puerto
rude.
Limon, a town in la Costa del Mar Caribe.
And again,
A few days ago, Paz
Just met
stumbled
somebody.
upon that facility while searching for a lost friend. She was captured. She's only a child, 16 years old. They did terrible things to her, but somehow she managed to escape.
why though?
She's swift. Fauna.
Why, though?
Her mother died when she was small, and she lost her grandparents in the Civil War. She hates war with a passion like no other.
My name is Paz, and I will do anything to protect my namesake. It is my one and only purpose.
Okay.
Please, get them out of my country. Make them leave Costa Rica.
Sorry, kid. We know who you are, Big Boss. That is why we've come to you.
The loading screen, I kind of like that. Prologue, an army without borders. As soon as I get actual gameplay, I'm going to see how to get into the damn menu so I can see about changing the controls a little bit, because that's going to cause me a lot of problems. November 10th, 1974.
Miller here. Do you copy, Snake? I see you've landed. That makes one giant leap for us.
Oh! '84. I was mistaken. I don't know why I...
I'm sending this from the offshore plant, our mother base. The signal is unidirectional.
Okay, there we go.
Giving you
That's better.
command
Hunter type.
slice through this channel. Keep your headphones on at all times and pay attention. Also, make sure no one else can listen in. Snake, are you clear on the controls? Take a minute to refresh your memory. Use the analog stick to move. Use the directional buttons to change views. To change your settings, use the start button to open the menu. Weapon. Hold the R button and press the square or circle buttons. Press the triangle button to aim your weapon. To use the weapon, press the triangle button while aiming. To stop aiming your weapon, press the square button. How about a little shooting practice? Try hitting a coconut.
How the hell do you... There we go.
Perfect. Oil drums, driftwood, buoys. There are plenty of targets around here.
Oh, I see why they have
Use an item to use.
the controls the way that they do.
The square or circle buttons. To check your map, press the start button to open the menu. The M16 is a standard assault rifle, capable of rapid fire.
I can play Claw. I've played Claw before.
That's right. Nicely done, boss.
We have a camouflage thing, it looks like. You've destroyed the trash. Some grenades? You don't say. Nope.
Grenades explode. You throw them, Snake. To ready a throwing type weapon, press the triangle button. To use a throwing weapon, ready it and press the triangle button. When using throwing weapons, hold the attack button down longer to throw forward. You won't throw the weapon until you let go of the button.
All right.
The facility you're headed for is past that fence. A grenade should be able to take out that gate. Don't you think you could use a little more practice?
Not actually what I wanted to do. Oh, this is gonna take me a second to get used to. Nah, I think we're good. I mean, I could go up here.
Not enough room, huh? We'll keep it here at the base.
Oh, okay. So we have a certain amount of ammo. Got it. That we can hold on our person. That makes sense. Not enough room. We'll hold it at the base. So I wonder if we could ever, like, run out of ammo, or if there's something we can do to buy the ammo. Alright.
Make your way east.
I'm gonna go this way and see if there's anything, like, special we can get a hold of. Looks like there's a ration over here. So I am glad we came back this way. Can only hold 3 rations on our person at one time. Okay, good to know. I wonder why they went with a, anesthetic, hell yeah. Why they went with the PlayStation Portable game on this one. Hold on, that popped up off screen a little bit, didn't it? No? I'll have to try and pay attention to the left side of it. See if there's anything I can do to make adjustments with. I also might need to make the volume a little bit different. Hold on, now that I'm thinking about it. Audio. Let's put it up to 8.
I gotta thank you for agreeing to this, Snake. Man, am I glad to be out of here. Finally, we can leave all that crap in San Geronimo behind. Break into the mercenary business for real. Let me guess. You're doing it for her, aren't you? For her.
So I'm thinking this is going to be about the boss. November 4th, 1974, 2031. Still in Costa Rica. What the hell do I have to do to get a light here?
Come on, Snake. This could be good for us. They're willing to give us an offshore plant, a place we can finally put down some roots. This is our chance to expand MSF.
We don't need a place to stay, Kaz. We're nomads. We always will be.
What? You'd rather keep wandering from conflict to conflict? Tools in the hands of whoever's fighting at the time?
The second we settle down, who's to say we won't become the warmongers?
Listen to me, Snake. We're not mercenaries. We're not a foreign legion. MSF's a business. A new kind of business. Look, it's not like we're trying to start a war here. All we need to do is find out who this security company really is.
Come on, Kaz. It's pretty obvious that they're backed by the CIA.
Wait a sec. That would mean...
Our friend, the professor, is likely KGB.
I see.
We'd be making an enemy of our homeland.
And there'd be no turning back.
Ah, this damn thing won't light.
Huh?
Put on some coffee, Kaz. It's time for a little chat with the professor.
Oh yeah, he's a fucking bad guy. I don't care what anyone
I
says.
was a heavy smoker. When I got my medal from the Secretary General, he gave me this prosthetic hand as well. But smoking was ruining my lungs, so I quit. I've not had much use for it since. It's quite an honor to meet the legendary Big Boss.
That's just a code name the CIA made up.
Then perhaps I should call you John.
I don't have a name. Stop using that code name you liked so much 10 years ago. What about you, comrade?
It's another, like...
What do they call you back at Center?
Well then, allow me to get straight to the point. Land as slim as a whip, hot as torture.
That's the Chilean poet, Neruda.
Central America is the navel of the American continents, bridging north and south. We want this land. We'll build a socialist stronghold, then use it to split the Americas in two.
America would lose its backyard.
And with it, its economic production, shipping lanes, and strategic value. We, on the other hand, would gain a base from which all of Latin America would be well within our reach. He who controls Central America will win this Cold War. First comes Nicaragua, toppling the pro-American Somoza regime. In preparation, we've begun instigating anti-Somoza sentiment and providing aid to the Sandinista National Liberation Front.
You're manipulating Sandinista into overthrowing Somoza for you.
After the revolution, Nicaragua will become a socialist state.
You think America's just gonna let that happen?
Certainly not. After all, the CIA is already here.
And that's the armed group inside Costa Rica.
Precisely. It's clear that they've been sent in to disrupt our efforts across the border in Nicaragua. Simply put, the army now stationed in Costa Rica is CIA capital. But it's more complex than that. The CIA's got something else planned as well.
Okay, so this dude straight up
That is the million-dollar question. Big Boss, we want you and your unit to find the answer. Infiltrate and investigate the facility in La Costa where Paz was imprisoned. Learn all you can of their operations. Then drive them out of the country.
You're asking us to settle a turf war between the KGB and the CIA?
What about her? That was all just an act?
You mean her words about peace? She was captured, that much is true. But I've kept my KGB affiliation from her.
And you thought we'd fall for a sob story?
No. I had good reason to bring her along. She managed to escape with her life, but her friend was not so lucky. Why were they attacked? I believe this will help explain.
Ah, so here's the,
Perhaps they saw something they weren't supposed to. Perhaps they heard something they shouldn't have.
This is the big one, yeah?
Cassette tape?
A
Paz
Sony
took
cassette
this
tape.
during her escape. She says her friend happened to record it by accident.
What is that?
A portable stereo cassette player. The first of its kind.
Ah, I heard they were working on something like that in Japan. Didn't know you guys were too.
No, they're
I
not.
believe what you're about to hear will help you
They
understand.
got it from Japan.
What is that? A quetzal?
The phoenix bird. Paz's friend was researching birds. She went out into the jungle to record bird calls and stumbled upon this.
That's a horse.
So? So what?
Now it gets interesting.
Poisonous. I need to get rid of it. I chase it back to its nest. You can't. The snake's too vicious. It's all... Many people... I chase it away. It will bite you unless you kill it. Go home.
Paz. Voice print analysis confirms that this voice is indeed that of the legendary hero and criminal, the boss.
What?
The other hasn't been identified. Female in her 30s with a British accent. The song playing in the background was a hit in 1973.
What's it going to be? Loyalty to your country or loyalty to me? Your country or your mentor? Your mission or your beliefs? I am loyal to myself.
Paz is alive in Costa Rica. As I understand it, she was your commander, fought by
No, I'm
your
pretty sure
side.
she's not alive.
And then
That's
you
something
killed her
different.
under orders from the CIA, thus surpassing her to become the hero known as Big Boss.
I like this. It's weird, but I kind of like this art style
What will it be?
for this.
Will you take the job?
Snake, it's gotta be a trap.
So you still can't turn your back on your country? Then I suppose you won't need this. Wait!
Snake?
I'll do it for the girl. For Paz.
Okay. For peace, then.
The manipulative bastards, man. He's 100% villain. No matter what, you can't change my mind at this point. And Paz, I don't trust. I want to, but I can't. So there's like no way to get codec calls or anything like that, is there?
There they are. CIA marks. Snake, you've got to get past them undetected. Avoid combat whenever possible.
I mean,
This is a sneaking mission. Hide behind stuff. Take the long way around. Whatever it takes to stay out of sight. Your gun is a last resort. It could just as easily kill you as save you.
oh, okay, that's interesting.
To press up against a wall, face it and hit the action button. From that position, you can press the L button to detect enemies. That also works while lying down.
The silencer has a limited amount, it looks like. Weird that we can't move while crouching. That's kind of messing with me.
The indicator in the upper right serves as a compass and shows sound sources. Pay attention to your surroundings. The percentage in the upper right is your Camo Index. The lower the number, the more easily you'll be spotted. Conspicuous movements and loud noises will compromise your Camo Index. Your fatigues will act as camouflage.
Okay, so there's like a little... The map almost reminds me of Monster Hunter. A little bit. Like you go into the next area type of thing.
Looks like you're inside the compound. Security is tight. Stay sharp.
Okay, so you have to hold it. Got it. That's new.
Huh. Is somebody there?
Okay, so that's delayed. Them spotting you is delayed as shit.
Enemy attack!
That was our first caution.
What happened, Snake?
I pressed R2 instead of R1. Controls are a little bit different. Apparently R2 speeds you up. Good to know. I mean, I already knew that, but we're reaffirming. Oh.
If you think you're about to die, use a ration or a recovery item. Can't be too careful. The indicator in the upper right serves as a compass and shows sound sources. Pay attention to your surroundings.
The CQC is different. Oh, this is gonna be hard to get used to, control-wise.
The percentage in the upper right is your Camo Index. The lower the number, the more easily you'll be spotted. Conspicuous...
So we can't message them through codec or anything like that, or radio, it doesn't seem.
Looks like you're inside the compound. Security is tight. Stay sharp.
We're under attack! It's the enemy! Send reinforcements!
Understood. Dispatching reinforcements now.
Love box. What? Nope. 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 Can you move? I'm angry. I'm angry. I'm angry. Oh, this is annoying. The controls are fucking are very difficult to get used to.
If you do end up having to fight, CQC can be your best friend.
Yeah,
But keep
well,
in mind, you can only use it when equipping a handgun or the stun rod. The indicator in the upper right serves as a compass and shows sound sources. Pay attention to your surroundings. The percentage in the upper right is your Camo Index. The lower the number, the more
there we go. I panicked, and as soon as I panicked, that was it. We were done. And I'm pressing the right and left to switch, but it's not. It's square and circle to switch. Which, if I had it switched to the other way, it would make sense. But
looks like you're inside the compound. Security is tight. Stay sharp.
love box. Big cardboard box. Two
What are you
people.
gonna use that for?
Need to hold it too. Interesting. Better. Much better. What was that? 2-3 attempts?
Yes, sir, we broke him. We acquired the whereabouts of target 500.
Acknowledged. Spears are loaded. The barge has cleared Point Bravo.
Acknowledged. Out.
Fucking QTEs?
Freeze!
I didn't expect QTEs.
Cargo. Where's it headed? What is it?
Air suit. In the mountains.
What's up there?
This is interesting. Now I gotta be prepared for watching cutscenes, damn you.
This is Snake. Kaz, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. You found a radio.
It's got a circuit that reverses the audio phase.
Let's switch frequencies from time to time, just to make sure we're not detected.
I found a map of their bases. The cargo's heading from the marshes west towards Irasu.
Nice going, boss.
Kaz, this place is full of film badges. Dozens of them.
Film badges? Like the ones used to measure radiation exposure?
The radio man was wearing one. And whoever he was talking to called the cargo Spears.
Wait, that would mean...
Nukes. They're bringing nukes into Costa Rica.
Holy Mother of God.
Alright, that's a hell of a hook. I'll say that much, that is a hell of a hook. It is going to take me too long to get used to the controls. This game's going to take me twice as long just because I'm not going to be used to the controls. So we could rank up our gear? Well, cool. There's a way to replay missions. That'll be nice. 10 out of 10 interaction bonus. M1C design specs rank 1. Smoke grenade.
How's that map, Snake? Think you can use it?
It tells me where their bases are, but it's just a bunch of points. No routes. I need better intel on the lay of the land.
Snake, the professor said he's got the Sandinistas on his side. Said you should get in touch with the FSL and Commandante.
Do they know they're backed by the KGB?
Nah. As far as they know, they're really fighting for the revolution. The KGB is staying behind the scenes. I'm not sure the Sandinistas are aware of what's really going on.
Still can't believe anybody would bring nukes here.
Yeah, that's a shocker. Costa Rica's party to the Tlatelolco Treaty, which declares Latin America a nuke-free zone. Based on Japan's 3 non-nuclear principles, it bans the testing, use, import, or deployment of nuclear weapons. If word of this gets out, Opano will be forced to act. It'll cause an international uproar.
The treaty was signed to prevent another Cuban Missile Crisis. If the U.S. itself is gonna scrap it...
Latin America is too close to spawning another Cuba or two already. The entire continent would become one big powder keg.
Well, if they did bring nukes, we can't let them get away with it.
Are they planning a test? Showing off? Or is it all to keep the anti-American movement in check?
Good question. Why bring them here? I can't figure it out.
Whatever the CIA's up to in Costa Rica, the professor wants it stopped. We need to find out what that something is.
We need to get ready first, Kaz. Repairs?
Working as fast as we can, boss. This place is pretty beat. Looks like hell. But as long as you're with us, we'll make it heaven. No one can bother us here. No state telling us what to do. This is the MSF's haven, our mother base. And with this foothold, we'll back you up even better than before. We're gonna turn this pile of junk into something big.
Nice. So this is where they started the individual mission ranking. Welcome to MSF's Mother Base. Mother Base can support your mission in many different ways, from developing new weapons to collecting intelligence. Research and develop, view staff, roster, and form teams, play a match versus other players. Would you like to view the staff assignment tutorial? Hell yeah. Mother Base is divided into several teams, including the combat unit, the R&D team, and the waiting room. Okay, so this is basically Metal Gear Solid 5. Phantom Pain. Just the start of it. By dividing your staff between the teams and raising each team's level, you will be able to develop new weapons and items over time. Select the auto-assign in the waiting room to automatically assign staff to teams according to their abilities. Recruiting talented personnel and exploiting their talents with the right assignments is the key to expanding Mother Base. This concludes the tutorial. Analyzer. Lobster. Never been in a real fight before, an honor fighting with you. 2 yolks in my egg this morning, so I'm gonna work twice as hard today, or at least complain half as much. Used to be in the army, but the government sold us out. Is there anything worth risking your life for anymore? Lungfish. Bluegill. A miracle gun that makes the sky do your bidding? That sounds like something from Gears of War. Raise morale. Letters from our folks and hot meals. Bobcat. The other day, out of the blue, we got a big box delivered to us. No return address, but it was full of all kinds of good stuff. Kind of creepy, I know. But I wasn't about to complain. So you apparently have good eyes. Sneaking suit they're talking about. This individual just wants to cook. He will do bad things, but won't make us look bad. I wonder if the brig's gonna become important. $350 soldiers we can have, okay. At Mother Base, you can develop new weapons and items for use in missions. This icon shows that you are able to start developing weapons and items. However, to do this, you will need the amount of GMP funds displayed. Be careful if you run out of GMP, deployment may come to a halt. More powerful weapons and items will make difficult missions that much easier. This concludes the tutorial. Okay, so we can look at a lot of stuff. A bigger cardboard box. Okay, I see what that is then. Confidential documented design specs for R&D team details requirement for development of the M1C. Oh, okay. Cool. Save play data. I'm gonna do that to make sure oh, it's just, never mind. There's only one analog stick. I think I'll stick with Hunter type. This I won't be able to do. I don't think, unless I change the settings on my stuff. Then again, it's probably doubtful that people are actually playing this online because of how old this game is. Mission selector? Wait a minute. Wait just a minute. Select the mission that you wish to participate in. Use L and R buttons to switch tabs. Join co-ops, cooperative play with a nearby player, and the one player must select the mission from the tab beside the co-ops tab and become the host. Other members were joined via the co-ops tab. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Main ops, extra ops. Three-minute time limit, 30 seconds for triggering an alert.
The boss has infiltrated the area around the coastal supply facility and knocked out the soldier there. But we can't just leave him there to be found. I need you to get in there and capture the unconscious soldier using the Fulton Recovery system. Do it quickly before he comes to.
Mission has been selected. Choose briefing files to review the radio mission briefing. Choose mission prep to select the weapon items, uniforms, and other options for use during this mission. Okay.
Snake, you can use the Fulton surface-to-air recovery system to send prisoners and unconscious mercenaries you encounter back to Mother Base. I know you've used the Fulton before, but just to make sure I'm not missing anything, let's review the steps.
Okay.
First, attach a balloon to the unconscious enemy or captured prisoner.
Right. I hook a wire to their waist, and on the other end of the wire, there's a helium balloon.
Right. Then we'll send over a chopper to catch the floating balloon with its recovery hook and reel it up into its cargo hold.
And that's it?
And that's it. We finished installing the recovery hook on the Huey.
Wait, Kaz. Something doesn't make sense about this whole process.
This again.
Well, normally, Fulton Recovery is for when you're using fixed-wing aircraft. With a helicopter, isn't it simpler to land and pick up directly?
Listen, Snake. You're going to be calling for recoveries repeatedly throughout your mission. We want to keep the risk of taking enemy fire to a minimum. The best way to get that done is to do the recovery in a high-speed flyby. That's what the Fulton surface-to-air recovery system is for.
Uh-huh. What's the real reason?
Helicopters are cheaper, and the repair bills will start adding up once the bullets start flying.
I thought so. Kaz, I know we need to keep costs down, but...
Boss, you really need to get rid of this whole army mentality. We're not the Pentagon. We don't have billions of taxpayer dollars to play with. And besides...
Fine. Just pick a reason that makes sense.
Helicopters have quicker response time. Sounds strange, yeah, but it works great. I promise. You'll get used to it before long.
Yeah, I hope so.
The mercenary supply base is situated on elevated ground by the coast. I heard them call it Puerto del Alba, Port of Dawn. They have perfect visibility of the area from up there. We did our best to sneak in undetected, but one of the guards spotted us and we...
What is it?
I'm sorry. You'll have to ask Professor Galvez the rest.
It's okay. You've been through a lot.
I am sorry. I just cannot.
You did great, Paz. I won't let your efforts go wasted.
Oh, motherfucker. I mean, this I'm pretty sure is a lot of stuff that we don't need to know. But you know me. We gotta go through it all. We gotta go through it all. Oh god, there's more. Buckle up.
Kaz, what kind of shape is that plant the professor gave us in?
First time I laid eyes on it, I thought it was some kind of joke. It was a giant birdhouse, seagulls everywhere. We eventually scraped off most of the rust and bird crap. The underlying structure's intact. Little elbow grease, and we should be in business.
Who used to own it anyway? Whatever shape it's in now, somebody sank some serious money into building it.
From what I can tell, an American university built it as a research platform for ocean thermal energy conversion. The name's still on some of the rusty old power turbines. I'm guessing they must have had government and corporate assistance to build it too. But they couldn't solve the thermal efficiency problem, and the project was canceled. Then after the university abandoned it, a KGB front company scooped it up for next to nothing. At least that's my theory.
How'd the KGB manage to buy a plant built with American capital, front company or not?
Yeah, that professor is quite the operator. One other thing. The plant's set up so that it can join up with other plants of the same standard.
So, they were originally planning on expanding the place, huh?
Hey, let's give it a shot. We can get some more people together and build this place up into a proper home for MSF. You're with me on this, right, boss?
So greetings and good day, Fab. How are you today?
Snake, you can use the Fulton surface-to-air recovery system to send prisoners and unconscious mercenaries you encounter back to Mother Base. I know you've used the Fulton before,
We just
but
listened
just to
to this,
make
didn't
sure
we?
I'm not missing anything, let's review this.
Yeah, we just listened to that. This is new
Remember
to me.
why we created MSF, Snake? To provide military force to whoever needs it, wherever they are, regardless of nation or ideology. Our beliefs aren't all that lofty.
We just won't be the tools of any one country.
Exactly. We know only how to fight, but we refuse to live our lives at the whim of the state. The MSF seal is patterned after Pangaea, the supercontinent from 250 million years ago. Back then, the whole world was one landmass, one world. No gaps, no rifts.
Our strength will take us back there.
Okay.
What about you, Kaz? Any interest in expanding MSF?
You'd better believe it. I want to make us into an organization that doesn't take orders from any country. Just like you were saying, we have to be strong. Strong enough to defend ourselves. We need money, too. Money to train soldiers to fight. The way I see it, we make MSF into something along the lines of a new kind of business. A contractor providing the full range of military services. Not just combat, but logistics, training, weapons, outfitting, and R&D. Combining the small footprint and exceptional performance of special forces with the raw military might of a full regular army. Only with that kind of power can we break free of nation-states. What I need from you, boss, is to go out and find guys we can bring back here using Fulton Recovery. Then tell us what assignment to use them for. I'll take care of the rest.
Okay. Ooh.
Your old mentor, the boss. She was known in the West as the mother of special forces, right?
Nothing but propaganda.
Actually, it's not all that far from the truth. I heard the KGB just set up a counter-sabotage cell. Alpha Group, I think they call it. There's even a rumor that West Germany created a counter-terrorist unit within its border police after the debacle at the Munich Olympics. Back home in the States, they've got the illustrious Green Berets, the SEALs, and your personal creation, Foxhound. The seeds sown by the boss are beginning to sprout. Same goes for MSF, right? In creating it, you were carrying on the will of the boss.
Yeah. She taught me how to fight the hard way. She beat it into me.
And now, thanks to her, we can take on missions other than just conventional combat. After all, we've got the same mother as the Army's Special Forces. Still can't believe Professor Galvez was KGB.
Well, like the professor said, Moscow's hell-bent on communizing Latin America.
Yeah, the Cuban intel services are all in the KGB's pocket. You don't think he's got some kind of ulterior motive?
Of course he does.
If the CIA is up to something, it's only natural that the KGB wants to know about it. But I doubt they're showing us their full hand.
We'd better watch our backs.
Like, he's voiced by Steve Bloom.
What do you think, Kaz? Why did Paz come all the way to Colombia herself?
It's a long trip to make just to be Exhibit A in Galvez's sales pitch. She's only 16, still a kid. Maybe we should take her wish for peace at face value.
But she's going with somebody who's KGB and claiming themselves to be her instructor. So I ain't gonna hold my breath on whether or not she's actually meaning she wants to have true peace.
Costa Rica isn't alone. All of Latin America is getting swept up in the superpowers' Cold War. The whole ideological split between East and West. In the end, it's just a greedy scramble for wealth by the ruling classes. The Western bourgeois stand to lose everything if their countries go communist. After all, the communists want to abolish private property altogether. So the capitalist rulers desperately tried to halt the global spread of communism. Hence the phenomenon of red baiting. And the communists, for their part, didn't exactly stay true to their principles. They tried to escape class-based society, but between Stalin's autocracy and the rise of the nomenklatura, they ended up creating one anyway. Once people have power, they stop caring about equality. That's where communism, where society in general reaches its limits. The rulers only care about their own gain. The opposing side becomes a risk factor that threatens the profit, and thus the ongoing struggle between capitalism and communism was born.
And now,
From
nuclear
bullshit.
deterrence is part of the picture.
Exactly.
I like these. We're gonna go through all of them because
They say nuclear weapons are the reason we haven't seen conflict on a global scale since World War II. The thought that your opponent might launch nukes against you sort of makes it tough to start an armed conflict, especially now that they've got intercontinental ballistic missiles. Nowhere is safe.
Of course, all that has caused military expenditures to skyrocket.
Well, the only way to ward off a preemptive strike is to flaunt your own nuclear stockpile, and that's caused their numbers to increase exponentially, not just with regards to destructive power, but in terms of targeting technology too. Now they can hit a target halfway across the world with pinpoint accuracy. In a way, the space race was a demonstration of that technological progress.
And as a result of all that, we now have mutually assured destruction.
It's the ultimate form of deterrence. No one's going to launch their nukes knowing they'll be obliterated in return.
I don't know. The chance of somebody hitting the button by mistake is never zero.
I suppose you're not
You're right.
wrong.
Even with peace guaranteed by MAD, there's always the risk of an accident.
Nobody wants the world to end on account of some machines malfunctioning.
On the other hand, thanks to deterrence, we haven't had a world war since 1945. You gotta admit, it has been pretty peaceful.
Not that it matters to us.
People point at the nuclear arms and space races and call it a Cold War. I say if they're not shooting at each other, why not call it world peace?
Doesn't mean war is gone. Look at Korea. Look at Vietnam.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking in relative terms here. Besides, if war died out completely, we'd be SOL.
We are not warmongers.
And yet, we can't survive in a world that's at peace.
You got a point.
Got a bit left. Got quite a bit left.
So it's been more than 10 years since the Cuban Missile Crisis, huh?
I don't think we'll ever forget it.
No kidding. Those 13 days starting October 15th, 1962
That's a good movie.
were probably the closest we ever came to all-out nuclear war. The Russians deployed nuclear missiles to Cuba. America responded with a naval blockade. Then Russia shot down an American spy plane. I was still a teenager back then, but I remember what it felt like to be one step away from nuclear war. The adults were freaking out.
If it wasn't for the Cuban Missile Crisis, there might never have been an Operation Snake Eater. And
What's the matter, Snake? It's not like you to get all hypothetical.
I guess not. It was the reassessment after the missile crisis that paved the way for the hotline between Moscow and Washington, and also for détente. That's irony for you.
The Treaty of Tlatelolco was enacted to make Latin America into a nuclear-free zone. It bans the testing, use, manufacture, production, acquisition, storage, and deployment of nuclear weapons. The impetus was pretty obvious. The series of crises triggered by the deployment of nukes in Cuba.
Not hard to imagine. Those 13 days had the whole world frozen in fear.
Of course, the country that started it all, Cuba, hasn't actually ratified it yet.
Still, the treaty's backed by over 20 countries. Anyone flouting it risks becoming an international pariah.
True. Opinel would investigate, no doubt. I heard they used Japan's 3 non-nuclear principles as their model when they drew up the treaty. I think the Treaty of Tlatelolco might have been their way of asking nuclear powers not to use nukes against them. That's the biggest difference between the treaty and the 3 principles. I guess you could call it a 4th principle.
We don't have nukes, so don't use nukes against us.
So Costa Rica abolished its army back in, what, 1949? Pretty gutsy move for a Central American nation at the time.
Yeah, well, they'd just come out of a civil war. I'm sure they were driven by a desire to avoid another tragedy like Pa said. But I think they had a more compelling reason. Army coup d'etat are a way of life in so many Latin American countries. Imagine seeing that up close.
No army, no coup. Makes sense.
Plus, their economy was in ruins, so they honestly didn't have any money to spend on an army anyway.
Yeah, but weren't they on less than friendly terms with Nicaragua?
Yeah, and in fact, Nicaragua did end up invading. But the Civil Guard fought back and the OAS brokered a ceasefire. The U.S. and the rest of the OAS had their back, and they used it to full advantage. For a quarter century, they survived in the powder keg of Central America. That must have taken some serious diplomacy, even if the Civil Guard is pretty decked out for a police force.
Must be tough to be a country without an army.
Hey, Snake, mind if I ask you something?
Since when did you start asking permission?
So, you used to be part of a CIA paramilitary unit, right?
That's right.
Ever do any ops in Central America?
No, not personally. But there were other units who did all kinds of stuff.
I remember the Bay of Pigs invasion back in '61. The papers had a field day with it.
Operation Zapata. That was the CIA code name. The whole thing went south.
Then there was Che Guevara, being hunted down in Bolivia. I heard the CIA had a hand in that, too.
There were several units similar to mine. MSP, SOG. They'd recruit former special forces, train them as intelligence agents, and send them on deniable covert paramilitary operations. One of those units trained the Bolivian army in counter-guerrilla tactics.
And then had them shoot El Che.
So the story goes.
Around here they say La CIA instead of CIA, huh?
Nothing strange about it. That's how it's pronounced when you read it in Spanish.
It has the feminine noun ending a, so they use the article la. Apparently some people have taken to using the term UCLA.
That's a new one to me. What's it mean?
It stands for Unilaterally Controlled Latino Assets.
Meaning they're local agents?
Yeah, that's the idea. Washington uses them like pawns. Nobody knows who they really are or what they're doing.
Oh boy.
You were saying Japan has a peace constitution too.
Yep. Japan renounced war in Article 9 of its constitution. aspiring sincerely to an international peace based on justice and order. The Japanese people forever renounce war as a sovereign right of the nation, and the threat or use of force as a means of settling international disputes. In order to accomplish the aim of the preceding paragraph, land, sea, and air forces, as well as other war potential, will never be maintained. The right of belligerency of the state will not be recognized.
You know it by heart.
Some things you never forget.
Impressive. There were some parts I didn't quite get, though. Like the whole means of settling conflicts thing.
Yeah, that's been the subject of debate. Whether or not it forbids any and all use of force. The current Constitution was originally drawn up under the Allied occupation. The first draft was even submitted by Allied GHQ. So naturally, there are some who feel the Constitution was imposed on Japan by foreigners.
Things like that are never simple. Same for every country, I guess.
One thing's for sure, though. Not having an army let Japan focus on economic recovery after the war. In that sense, it's the same as Costa Rica.
Kaz, you were in the Japanese Self-Defense Force, right? I thought that Article 9 you were talking about earlier prevented Japan from having an army.
Yeah, and that's another subject of controversy. The Self-Defense Force is an organization for the purpose of defense. Article 9 of the Constitution does not deny Japan's right to self-defense. Therefore, the SDF is constitutional. That's Tokyo's official stance.
Sounds complicated.
Call it what you will.
Isn't
It's
anything?
a distinctly Japanese way of interpreting things.
The U.S. has military forces stationed in Japan, right?
Right. Even though the Allied occupation ended, American forces are still stationed there under the U.S.-Japan Security Treaty.
Unlike Costa Rica.
Part of it stems from the occupation, but Japan also occupies a key strategic position from America's perspective. It's next door to the Soviet Union and close to China and North Korea as well. It's integral to the security of Pacific Asia. For America, Japan represents a barrier against communism.
What about for Japan?
As you might expect, there's deep-rooted opposition to the alliance. In 1960 and 1970, when the treaty was up for revision, there were mass protest movements against it, especially in Okinawa. The U.S. only gave it back to Japan 2 years ago, and American bases are still concentrated there. It's a heavy burden for the Okinawans to bear.
Then why don't they scrap the treaty?
Lots of reasons. There's the imbalance of power with the U.S., of course, and if Japan pulled out, they'd be losing the nuclear umbrella America provides. And as for whether the JSDF could defend the country after the Americans left, I really couldn't say. Costa Rica is in a similar situation. They depend on the Inter-American Treaty of Reciprocal Assistance, the so-called Rio Pact.
So, the countries with peace constitutions end up having to rely on other countries' armies. Kind of ironic.
On the flip side, not everybody in America is satisfied with it either. Some people argue Japan is freeloading off America's security guarantee. And you know how Japan's industrial exports are making inroads in the States.
Yeah, I've got a Japanese camera myself. Best damn camera around.
Japan's low defense
from
spending
Sony?
allows it to invest more in economic recovery and expand its share of the American market. That's a bitter pill for Americans to swallow.
This is actually really interesting information.
You know that today, Japan is under the
Learning a
American
lot
nuclear
today.
umbrella.
Right.
The U.S. vowed to retaliate against any country that launches a nuclear strike against an allied country. That promise deters nuclear attacks against America's allies, hence the term nuclear umbrella. But suppose the Russians nuke Tokyo. Would America really nuke Moscow in return? If they did, the Soviet Union would undoubtedly retaliate. Would Washington really be willing to risk having a bomb dropped on itself in order to avenge Japan? I'm not so sure.
Don't tell me you're still worried about Japan. After all these years?
It's not that.
To be honest, I'm not convinced either. But Moscow faces the same dilemma. Maybe Washington wouldn't retaliate on Japan's behalf. Then again, maybe it would.
So you're saying Moscow wouldn't want to risk being attacked either?
The whole concept of nuclear deterrence is entirely hypothetical to begin with. When you get down to it, it's all smoke and mirrors.
It's basically a dick measuring contest.
Japan shall not possess,
But a very destructive
manufacture,
dick
or
measuring
allow the
contest.
introduction of nuclear weapons into Japan. Those are the 3 non-nuclear principles set forth by the Japanese government.
Allow the introduction. That's funny. Some of the U.S. warships that visit Japanese ports are armed with nukes. Or are you going to tell me they transfer them at sea onto other ships every time they visit?
You raise a good point, Snake. But the Japanese government doesn't recognize it as such. The introduction of nuclear weapons into Japanese territory would need to be agreed upon in advance. America hasn't made any such agreements. Therefore, they aren't bringing nukes into Japan. That's the official excuse.
Doesn't sound like much of an excuse to me.
I don't blame you. Keep in mind, though, Japan suffered actual nuclear attacks. Anti-nuke sentiment there runs deeper than you think.
No,
I suppose the government's not really in a
understand
position
that.
to admit that sort of thing.
So tell me, Kaz, how's the self-defense force you were in different from an army?
The JSDF is set up for national defense. It's not configured for aggression against other countries. It's what you'd call exclusive defense.
Exclusive defense?
It's the fundamental strategic posture of the JSDF. No preemptive attacks. Only the minimum defensive action necessary after an enemy attacks.
Anything defined as self-defense, then?
The JSDF originated as the National Police Reserve. Back then, American forces stationed in Japan were being sent over to fight in the Korean War. So in a sense, the NPR was filling a gap.
Police, huh? Reminds me of the Costa Rican Civil Guard.
Yeah, exactly. They're also dispatched to provide disaster relief. The year before I joined, they had a hell of a time trying to rescue some buses that got hit by landslides.
So why'd you quit the JSDF?
Because I didn't have a reason to be in Japan anymore.
A reason?
My mom had died 3 years earlier, so I didn't have to care for her anymore. With her gone, there was no point hanging around in Japan.
Yeah, but a man with your talents could have risen pretty high in the ranks, I imagine.
I don't know what they made of me. Could be it actually alienated me from the brass. And personally, I could never get used to the idea of exclusive defense.
Meaning?
On a strategic level, I can see how a country could go with the exclusive defense model used by the JSDF, and I've got nothing against my fellow soldiers who believe in it. On a tactical level, though, it just rubbed me the wrong way. To put it simply, I was itching for a real fight.
I figured.
And I felt as long as I was in the JSDF, I'd never be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with my father, who was in the U.S. Army. Seeing Yukio Mishima's suicide didn't help either.
Yukio Mishima. The guy who wrote The Temple of the Golden Pavilion.
The way he questioned the status quo hit home with me. Not that I admired his vision or anything, but it did get me thinking, that's for sure.
Okay. 4 more familiar. God, there's going to be so many of these in the future, I just know it.
Don't forget to give the MSF staff assignments. Where you place people will determine how Mother Base grows.
Right.
That goes for me too. Assign me wherever you think is best.
You? I thought you were second in command.
Don't worry, I've got that covered. But MSF is still small, and I don't have the leisure of sitting around on my butt all day.
I see your point, but...
Not to brag or anything, but I'd kick ass at whatever job you gave me. Put me in the area you want to focus on developing most. I'll take real good care of the staff there.
Easy, Kaz.
Here we go. This is what I was
funny
thinking.
Sometimes, isn't it?
How
What
they
brought
met.
that on?
We first met as enemies on the battlefield. And now here we are fighting side by side.
You mean Columbia?
Yeah. After I quit the JSDF, I made my way there and got myself a position as a drill sergeant for a band of revolutionaries. Despite the fact that I'd never seen a day of combat.
I see you had the gift for talking business in Spanish even back then.
Oh, come on, stop it. You're making me blush. Unlucky for me, though, you were in the service of the Colombian Army. I remember it like it was yesterday. It all happened in an instant. You guys ambushed us, and half my unit was taken out. My mind went totally blank. I couldn't keep it together. My whole unit was wiped out, and I was left half dead from a bomb blast.
Then, as I was leaving, you yelled out at me. I came all the way from Japan to be here. My place is on the battlefield. Then you asked for my help, saying, I want to be the one to end it. I remember being surprised that there were still samurai in Japan.
You guys came over to me. I had a grenade hidden under me, but even then you were too fast. The second I pulled the pin, you grabbed the hand I was using to hold the grenade with both palms.
I didn't want it to go off. I'd heard samurai were a proud bunch. I wanted to know why one of them would stoop so low as to try to take his opponent with him.
And I said, I'll never lose again. We'll never lose again.
Yeah. We'll do whatever it takes, but we'll never be beaten again.
Then, I passed out from the blood loss. When I woke up, I was in your camp's infirmary, stuck full of tubes. Why'd you save me? Your enemy after I tried to kill you.
Because you swallowed your pride and fought with everything you had.
I just didn't want to lose.
You found a way to fight back, even in the face of death, even when you knew you were going to die. That's the mark of a true warrior. It's not about gain and loss, or victory and defeat. I looked at the way you lived your life and saw the path I needed to take. As a warrior.
Wow. I never knew that. And that's why you...
I realized then that the battlefield doesn't only divide people into allies and enemies. Sometimes it tells you more than just who's an ally or who's an enemy. Sometimes it helps reveal your true comrades.
Like you and me, huh?
That's right. And 2 years later, here we are.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty good tale. We're probably never gonna do any co-ops. Oh god. Aim tremors.
You probably heard this a million times, Snake, but you should always avoid combat with the enemy when possible.
And I'll probably hear it a million
We're
more.
outnumbered and in unfamiliar territory. We won't survive long in a straight fight, even with you on our side.
I know. Avoiding combat is rule number 1 in a sneaking mission.
That's right. Don't let the enemy know where you are, and attack only when
After
necessary,
this one, I gotta step
using
away for a
hit-and-run
minute.
tactics to cripple them. It's the essence of guerrilla warfare.
These are very interesting. Be right back.
Can I ask you a favor, Snake?
If you ask nicely.
To make MSF bigger, we need to do some recruiting.
Yeah. What's your point?
I want you to avoid killing enemy soldiers as much as possible and send them back using Fulton Recovery. Not much we can do with a corpse except give it a funeral.
Obviously.
Put him to sleep, knock him out, hold him up even. And if you do have to fight, try to leave them near death instead of dead.
And then use the Fulton Recovery system. Sounds easy enough.
You know what'd be really nice, though? If we had a way to Fulton recover anybody at any time.
Probably get that at some point.
Don't carry any more gear than you need. If you try and stuff your entire arsenal into your backpack, it'll be too heavy and your mobility will be impaired.
Of course.
You'll only be hurting yourself.
I know. Take only what you need. Every rookie knows that.
You can check the weight of your gear before heading out. So make sure you do.
Got it.
Even a born warrior like you gets hand tremor, Snake. It happens even when you're full of stamina, and it only gets worse when you're tired, especially with larger, heavier weapons. Obviously, you'll get better aim crouching than you will standing, and when you use a scope, setting your sights on a single point will gradually give you a more precise aim. As we develop better weapons at Mother Base, though, you may gain access to new, low-tremor versions of the same guns.
Cool.
So if you expect the shakes to be a problem, you might want to put some resources into R&D.
I'll keep it in mind. Then again, the more you use a weapon, the more your hands get used to it. Sometimes it pays to be faithful to your gun.
Choosing the right uniform is crucial. Pick one that matches the mission objective and your own combat style.
Oh, that was just very short.
Jungle fatigues are made for jungle combat. They provide decent protection and let you carry a fair number of weapons. Your standard uniform, basically. The distinguishing factor is that your camo index will vary a lot, depending on the area. Wear a pattern that makes you blend in with your surroundings, and your camo index goes up. Wear something that clashes, and you'll stick out like a sore thumb.
Pick the right pattern for the occasion. Sigint used to lecture me on it all the time.
That's kind of interesting that they reference the previous characters like they do.
That's exactly what you are with this uniform. The pants are the same as the jungle fatigues. Obviously, since you're exposing your bare skin, your defense and camo index are gonna be low. On the plus side, it's so light you can move around quicker.
Good for showing off muscles, too.
Hey, Snake, I heard they gave you your old code name because you used to run around with your shirt off. Is that true?
Don't believe everything you hear. They called me naked because I went in without gear or food. I had to procure everything on site.
You mean they sent you into the jungle without even a pair of pants? On a halo jump from 35,000 feet? Sweet Jesus, you are a legend.
You're busting my balls, aren't you, Kaz?
Little bit, yeah.
Hilarious.
That's great. That's actually great. This is why you listen to all of these, for stuff like that. Yeah, probably never going to be using any of this, and there's all of it here, but might as well listen to it at least. Maybe there's a couple funny moments in there.
Cooperative Operations, or co-ops for short, is the term for taking on missions in teams of 2 or more. The basic co-ops unit is a 2-man cell.
Even a single teammate is great to have in enemy territory.
And there are actually quite a few things you can't do by yourself. You can help each other climb walls, divide up mission roles. On the other hand, if one of you is spotted, the other one's screwed too. And it's kind of tough for 2 people to hide in one small space.
Good point. But what's more important than anything is how close you are to your comrades.
Well said. Working as a 2-man cell can make the mission easier or harder, depending on how well you work together. It's also good to note that if you've got a clear, specific objective, it can be to your advantage to use an even bigger team. That said, teams of 3 or more run a much greater risk of being spotted.
Yeah. In a sneaking mission, the fewer people you have, the easier it is to get around.
What if there's AI-controlled stuff?
In co-ops, you can trade weapons and equipment with your teammates. You can also display your teammates' inventories from your weapon or equipment menu. Ammo is shared too, of course.
Ammo, sure. How about life? That also shared?
Yep. You all sink or swim together. Your teammate dies, you die. You need to be within a certain distance of each other to swap items.
Yeah, I know. I've been in this business so long I can virtually see that distance. Looks kind of like a ring in my head.
That's why you're the boss. Okay, we'll call it
That's
the co-op
cute.
ring. And entering the ring will be called going co-op in.
Stuff like that's kind of cute.
Another thing. During a mission, you can assume what we'll call the snake formation. Same as your code name, but probably not standard operating procedure for a guy who specializes in going solo.
Damn right. There's only room for one snake.
In co-ops, though, it's a highly effective formation. The signal for snake formation is to tap your teammate on the shoulder.
Can't form up until you're close enough to reach out and touch someone.
Entering snake formation is called going snake in. When you're snake in, the soldier at the front of the line controls movement. The soldiers in back focus on scouting and attack.
So it's less an actual formation and more style of combat.
Just because your heart stops doesn't mean you're dead immediately.
Right. The heart just circulates blood through the body, but stopping it does cut oxygen supply to the brain. You'll be dead soon after.
Which is why we have CPR. Let's say your heart does stop. If someone performs CPR before your brain cells die, you can recover. In co-ops, when the life gauge drops to 0, it means you're in a near-death state. You won't be able to move or anything else. Performing CPR on near-death teammates can bring them back into action. Of course, performing CPR in the middle of battle isn't exactly safe. You're leaving yourself exposed. Even so, in co-ops, you and your teammates are all in the same boat. Don't think you can get away with leaving one of them behind.
I wouldn't think of it. And I'd expect them to do the same for me.
If you let all your teammates die during a mission, there'll be nobody left to save you.
And then, it's game over.
Incorrect. He is Snake and Naked Snake, but Naked Snake is part of the Snake name, and Big Boss is just like something that they gave him after he defeated the boss. Solid Snake is currently not even born yet. Remember, this takes place years before even the L'Enfants Terribles project, which is the terrible children that occurred, that created Solid Snake, Liquid Snake, and Solidus Snake. So Solid Snake, he's technically the father. He's technically the father because when he was in a coma, they got his DNA and used his DNA to clone Solid, Liquid, and Solidus. And Solidus is from a different mother compared to Liquid and Solid Snake. Those two are, their mother is Eva, right? She carried those two in her womb as a surrogate mother. But yeah, any other thoughts like that? I should have the answers for the most part. This, I didn't really know a lot about Miller. This is a lot of information I'm getting about Miller. So this was probably a good game to play.
Building trust with your teammates is essential to success in co-ops.
That goes without saying. I'm not gonna let somebody I can't trust cover my ass.
The measure of that trust is called camaraderie. Think of it as an indicator of how strong your bond is with your co-op's teammates. The friendlier you act toward them, the greater your camaraderie.
Give me an example.
Your camaraderie will be higher if you're co-op in than standing apart. Saving a teammate's life with CPR also strengthens your bonds with them. Things like hitting a teammate with friendly fire will cause your camaraderie to go down.
That's gonna happen if there's AI stuff.
Camaraderie carries over from mission to mission. The next time you go co-ops in with the same guy, you'll start off strong. But be careful. If you keep taking new people with you on missions, your camaraderie with past teammates eventually reverts back to its original level.
Got it. I'll have to make sure to renew old friendships once in a while.
Okay, that's pretty neat.
The performance benefits gained from Snake Sync in co-ops depend on your camaraderie. It's always best to keep things cool with your teammates.
That's pretty neat.
Stand still when you're Snake in, and you and your teammates will start to get in sync.
In sync?
That's right. Stay still together and you'll enter Snake Sync mode. The synergy will give you a boost in performance. You'll move faster, recover faster, and have better camouflage.
In other words, we're at our best when we're in the same groove.
You got it. If you've got a big task ahead, can't hurt to take some time to get in sync. Like I said before, the benefits you get from Snake Sync depend on your camaraderie.
I hear ya. It's a lot easier knowing you've got someone you know and trust covering your back. Lets you focus that much more on what you have to do.
I wonder what it would have been like if they decided to keep the co-op stuff for, like, the Phantom Pain.
If camaraderie represents how much your teammates trust you, then heroism shows how high your reputation is.
Because they really went into this co-op
heroism.
stuff.
Your reputation affects your ability to recruit new members to MSF. With higher heroism, it won't take as long to convince guys to join our cause and send them back by Fulton Recovery.
So, how do I get this heroism thing to go up?
Lots of ways. Complete tough missions, avoid unnecessary bloodshed, and don't get caught by the enemy like a deer in headlights, or you'll never be heroic. Also, getting out there and attacking the enemy in co-ops will boost your reputation among your teammates. Of course, it'll get the enemy gunning right for you, too. But don't sweat it. Be yourself. Be the boss. From where I'm standing, you're plenty heroic already.
Knock it off.
That's funny.
Seems the R&D team's been busy working on co-ops only weapons.
Co-ops only?
Like a gun with extreme firepower, but only when 2 people fire it at once. I hear it's still in the concept stage.
I know some rocket launchers need 2 people to operate, but a co-ops only weapon.
Hey, if they come up with something good, you'll have that much more reason to go co-ops.
That'd be something
Why
like
don't you check in and see how they're
machine
doing
gun.
every once in a while? In co-ops, maintaining close communications with your teammates is crucial.
Absolutely. Losing track of each other on the battlefield is a good way for a unit to get itself wiped out.
Enemy positions, orders, distress calls. When communications break down, you get picked off one by one. Now about co-ops comms.
Co-ops comms?
It's a radio system for communicating with co-ops teammates. First, press the Start button to open the menu. Then select Co-ops comms. After that, press one button to choose a category, then another button to select the actual message. So basically, you use different combinations of 2 buttons to send different messages.
Easy enough.
You can set which messages go with which buttons during mission prep.
Sounds like it's going to be a pain to send messages until I get used to it.
Then why don't you assign Co-ops comms to the Select button? That should make things a little quicker and easier. Just go to Select button under Options.
I'll give it a try.
Snake, you familiar with the Japanese word kotodama?
I've heard it before, I think.
Kotodama.
Unfortunately, there's no direct equivalent in English. But to keep it simple, let's call it a sort of battle cry.
Battle cry, huh?
Right. But kotodama is actually a deep Japanese concept. Koto means word, and dama means spirit. It signifies that words have power that affect our reality.
Are you feeling okay?
I guess I made it sound kind of like mumbo-jumbo, huh? Seriously, though, haven't you ever felt energized when a teammate cheered you on? Or the other way around? Ever had your legs cut out from under you by a thoughtless remark?
Yeah, I know the feeling. Words can have a powerful mental effect on people.
Same goes for
I'm
co-ops
actually writing
comms.
down the meaning of
Offering
kotodama.
praise to somebody could make them run faster than usual. Or make somebody who thinks they're done for get up and fight again. See what I'm saying?
I get the picture. So it works in reverse, too.
The powers of words are many and varied. Try using them for yourself. Snake, about cardboard boxes.
Oh god, here we go.
It feels kind of weird me explaining this stuff to you, but there have been a few recent developments in cardboard box technology. So just to be safe, here goes.
Go on.
You can do much more with the box than just hide under it. You can put it someplace and leave it there.
Huh?
You can get on top of it and use it to reach high places, or hide from the enemy in its shadow.
I like what I'm hearing so far.
So do I.
And that's not all. You can even put items in it and send them to co-ops teammates.
Okay,
Really?
that's pretty cool.
I never thought of any of that. Damn. Is there anything a cardboard box can't do? Every soldier should have one.
Yeah, well, don't get too excited. This isn't exactly what they were made for.
Which reminds me, don't you think the boxes around here are a little on the big side?
You're right. I bet 2 people could fit under one box, if they packed in tight enough. They call them love boxes.
Love boxes?
Of course, you don't need a love box to fit 2 people inside. Any box of similar size will do.
The love box is very euphemistic in my mind. I can't not get my head out of the
Up to 2 people
gutter.
can fit inside a cardboard box.
Tell me how.
Move close to a box with a teammate inside, and an icon will appear. Then press the action button. You'll
Holy
stay
shit.
inside as long as the action button is pressed.
So, same as snake formation, huh?
Exactly the same. In fact, when you put on a cardboard box when snake in, both of you can climb inside.
A box big enough to hold me and my buddy. These are fine times we live in, hey, Kaz?
Yeah. Sure, boss.
I was just like, this motherfucking crazy bastard.
Snake, about that cassette player Galvez was carrying.
What about it?
That was no Russian imitation. It was the real deal. A prototype developed by a Japanese company.
Get out of here.
It's true. It had the Sony logo on it. The product name is Walkman.
Walkman.
It's a revolutionary new concept. Music you can listen to on the go. You can take it with you when you leave the house. I gave it a listen, and you wouldn't believe how good the sound quality is for something so tiny. And in stereo, too. Think of the technology that must have gone into it. And that tape is equally amazing. The treble range is clearly superior to any other cassette ever made. Stylish, too.
How'd Galvez get his hands on a model that's not even out yet?
Beats me. It's not the kind of thing I'd expect some stodgy Soviet to be into.
Me neither. Tell you what, though, it's a fine piece of work. It'll let me listen to my music when I want, where I want.
I never thought I'd hear you say that, but I have to agree. Me? I'm a recording freak, and I always used to laugh at the idea of a portable player. But now that I've seen it in action, I've changed my mind. Being able to take your music with you, this could be the start of a revolution in music.
Could be.
Not wrong.
I'm having the guys at Mother Base study and analyze it. Who knows? They might be able to come up with something even better.
Even better? Alright, that was all of the file library for Miller. Now we have pauses before pause before we move on.
Costa Rica means rich coast in Spanish.
Is it true that Columbus was the one who came up with the name?
Your guess is as good as mine. But it is true that Columbus landed his ships near Limon back in the age of exploration. He wrote in his diary that when he landed, the indigenous showered him with gifts of gold. Hence the name. It sounds a little strange to me. There is no way they could find that much gold in Costa Rica.
Columbus originally set sail in search of the legendary land of gold. Maybe he was just nuts about the stuff.
Costa Rica is rich enough without it. Look at the forests and the animals and the peace-loving people. That is what I want to protect.
I know how you feel.
Democracy took root in Costa Rica before anywhere else in Central America. Sure, we had coup and dictators and all, but never a total meltdown. That is, until 26 years ago.
The Civil War. Yeah. I understand you lost your grandparents.
It started with a dispute over alleged fraud in the presidential election. What I do not understand is why friend turned against friend, when they could have talked it out instead.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Even today, some buildings still have bullet holes from the Civil War. A quarter century later, and it is a tragedy we Ticos cannot forget, must not forget. It was the year after the Civil War that the army was constitutionally abolished. A new president was elected this year, President Oteber. He seems to be distancing himself from the United States. He has limited the privileges granted to American banks, lifted the sanctions on Cuba. Our last president was so pro-US, people suspected he was in bed with the CIA.
You think the CIA is doing this because it feels threatened by the president's shift in policy?
You didn't say
It
Lucia.
is possible, but would they really bring in such a huge army just because of that?
Part of our job is finding out.
Exactly. Thanks, Snake. Peace.
I wonder if that was just a dialogue thing that they never caught, or a Walkman.
Are you a student?
I think my old man had one too.
No, I am still in high school. But Professor Galvez lets me visit his office and study with him every now and then. International law,
She's KGB.
security, conflict
Don't tell me if
resolution,
you actually know,
human
but
rights.
this is my thought
We
process.
study all these subjects and then use them to build the foundations of peace.
Yeah, I get it. I just never heard the UN had a university for peace before.
Oh, that. Well, to be precise, it is still being set up. They have started conducting research, but The UN has not passed the necessary resolution yet. Professor Galvez couldn't wait that long.
Oh, right.
Costa Rica abolished its army and has also hosted the Central American Court of Justice. It is the perfect place to build a university like ours. Don't you think?
Yeah. Galvez. Oh, I haven't told her I'm part of the KGBs, but she's my student in peace talks. Bullshit.
That coffee you guys brought us is pretty damn good.
Isn't it? Costa Rican
Well, I'm saying that
coffee
for people
is
who
the
might
best.
watch.
The Central Basin has all the right conditions for growing coffee. It is high in elevation, with steady temperatures and well-drained volcanic soils.
The professor certainly seems attached to it.
The coffee we drank on the boat coming over was awful. It put him in such a terrible mood.
Well, how come I never hear about Costa Rican coffee then?
Because it gets bought up by wholesalers and mixed with beans from other countries. It is really a shame. Such wonderful beans, and nobody knows they are from Costa Rica.
Huh. They should launch an ad campaign or something.
Right. I hope one day people will recognize Costa Rican coffee for what it is.
I'm with you there.
It was more for, like, if somebody watches the VOD of this, or the Twitch highlight, or the YouTube video when it eventually goes live, and then they start watching me when I'm live, they don't answer my questions. Because anytime I ask questions for a game that I'm playing for the first time, I'm not actually asking those questions, or I'm just making statements that I don't want answered, you know what I mean?
Paz, you said Costa Rica has no army, right?
Correct. Article 12 of the Constitution declared that the Army as a permanent institution is abolished. It does permit us to organize armed forces for national defense based on inter-American treaties.
Only temporarily, then.
In effect, yes. But in the years since the Constitution took effect, Costa Rica has not once raised an army.
Yeah.
Paz, how does your country defend itself without an army? Especially in a rough neighborhood like Central America.
With the right kind of diplomacy. If we live up to our ideals and earn the respect of other countries, the international community will support us. The 2 times Nicaragua actually did invade, the conflict was resolved diplomatically under OAS auspices.
Doesn't that leave you depending on the U.S. after all?
American influence is unmatched, it is true. San Jose was critical of American policy at the time, but America supported us all the same. It was because we practiced peaceful diplomacy. That is what I like to think.
That's one way to approach it, sure. But there are countries out there who will use force no matter how bad it looks.
Maybe so. I know my way of thinking probably looks naive to you, but it is not like we expect peace without working for it. Diplomacy is a battle in itself, and we have to make the effort to seek out causes of misfortune and nip them in the bud. It was that kind of thinking that got me trapped in their base.
I'm not blaming you. You haven't done anything wrong.
The Army was abolished 25 years ago, the year after the Civil War. I learned about the sorrow of civil war from a very young age, the futility of countrymen fighting each other, and the tragedy. Costa Rica learned the hard way. That is why it abolished its army.
But you're only 16.
It decided to pour its efforts into education instead. More teachers than soldiers was the slogan.
Education is essential, no question. Even Che used to teach reading and writing in between guerrilla campaigns.
Costa Rica was poor at the time. We did not have many resources. I suppose we had to pick one or the other. The military or the schools.
Kaz was telling me Japan has a peace constitution too.
That is right. Apparently, when Costa Rica was drafting its constitution, they looked to the Japanese as a model. Only, Japan's constitution renounces war itself.
Unlike Costa Rica.
But Japan has a self-defense force, right? That I do not get.
Oh, when they got
I think I
invaded.
will ask Mr. Miller about it next time I see him. He said he used to be in the JSDF.
Huh. You're a curious one, are you? Don't study too hard. What was that you were saying? Peace is not the natural state of men. You said you learned it in school.
That is right. They are the words of the German philosopher Immanuel Kant. In 1795, he wrote a book titled Perpetual Peace. Kant argued that it is precisely because peace is unnatural that we have to make it ourselves.
How?
That is what his book is about. Is the concept starting to sound interesting now?
Not really. I belong in a more natural world.
Is that so? My grandparents died in the Civil War. If only we had been at peace, they would not have lost their lives. You actually wish for war?
It's not like I want to hurt innocent civilians, but if someone attacks you, what are you supposed to do? A country needs the strength to defend itself. Otherwise it faces invasion, oppression, political subjugation.
If they would simply stop using force to tangle with each other,
But
countries would not need force to defend themselves.
And how would you guarantee that?
I...
Sorry, but you have to understand how the world works in order to protect the ones you love. That's not to say ideals aren't important too. They are.
You are right, Snake. Thanks. Peace.
Well, I normally don't really, I normally have backseating allowed for my tags. I make exceptions for Metal Gear Solid, though. You know, I try not to spoil other people for stuff that they haven't seen. And the one series I want to make sure I don't spoil other people on is Metal Gear Solid, or the Metal Gear franchise in general. Any other time, if I'm playing something like Elden Ring or whatever, people can tell me how to... I even think I have a backseating command. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, that. Yeah, I even have a backseating command.
Costa Rica's forests are more diverse than you might expect. Not all of them are tropical rainforests. Costa Rica is close to the equator, it is true, but it is also very mountainous.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Go up 4,000 feet in elevation and the temperature drops more than 7 degrees.
There are basically 3 types of forests. The lowlands are covered in tropical rainforests.
Tropical?
The highlands by tropical cloud forests, and areas where there's a dry season have tropical dry forests.
They're all tropical. Not what I would thought. I was thought she was gonna talk about coniferous or whatever. But yeah, normally I'm all for backseating because it's one of the things that I don't like. Sure, tell me, I can understand completely, because when I watch streamers for a game that I've played, there's parts where it's like, hey, all you gotta do is this. It's better to tell me why you want me to do something, and mechanics, like telling me, okay, if you do this or there's a secret or something like that, I'm a little bit okay, right? I'll be like, hey, if you go over here around the corner, check this out. I'm okay with that. But like telling me specific story spoilers, that's different to me than backseating, you know?
The lowlands along the Caribbean coast are mostly covered by hot, humid tropical rainforests, what most people envision when they think of jungle. The closely packed trees spread their branches out at great heights to soak up the sun. Their shade makes it dark near the ground, so be careful. Of course, with so little light, few plants can grow on the ground, so it might actually be easier to walk.
So even if you could photosynthesize, it wouldn't do you any good.
Photosynthesize? People cannot do that.
Most people, anyway.
I love the little callback to the end. That's pretty cool.
Costa Rica is said to have about 87,000 species of living things. That is about 5% of all the known species in the world.
A tiny place like this? Huh. I'll be damned.
I want to protect that biological diversity. When diversity is lost, the environment weakens. Just look at the plantations.
I think I know what you mean. It's like trying to assemble a unit from similar guys. It usually doesn't work out. Throw a few square pegs in there and everything falls into place.
There are so many species here that a lot of them have not even been classified yet. I am hoping I can help do that someday. Kind of like a parataxonomist.
Say that again.
Parataxonomist.
Someone who helps a taxonomist.
Oh. Huh. I thought you were going to say it had something to do with parachutes.
You're weird.
But yeah, it's one of those things where there's a little bit of a slip in between, like, there is some backseating that can be partly spoiler, and there is some spoilers that need to be spoiled for backseating. It's a weird balancing act.
The Development Corporation of Costa Rica, or CODESA, was established 2 years ago. Since President Oduber was elected this year, the state has been putting a lot more effort into development.
The corporate state, so to speak.
Growth is good and all, but there is one thing that bugs me.
What's that?
I cannot help but wonder whether CODESA is not just a front for the CIA.
You mean what the professor was saying about the CIA mercenaries posing as security guards? They were using CODESA as camouflage?
I am worried that development is going to destroy the forests, but I do not suppose it has anything to do with this.
That's a dialogue misinterpretation, I guess, because I don't think. Again, I'm not a voice actor. I didn't have the script in front of me or anything like that, obviously. But hearing them say "Lacia" in the beginning, and then in these say CIA and stuff like that, is a little bit.
My mother was the one who
Darn.
named me Paz. She said it was an expression of her wish that the country stay at peace. It is a pretty common name in Central America. My mother always used to tell me, never make war. Always help keep the peace.
I remember. Your grandparents.
Yes. They died in the Civil War. I think that is why my mother hated war so much.
That's another thing you've got in common with Kaz. His mother named him Peace, too.
See, because Japan also suffered through war. I think I know how Mr. Miller's mother felt.
You like the peace sign, huh?
See, as a gesture, it connects every peace-loving person. Here, you try it, Snake. Peace.
No thanks. It doesn't suit me.
Too bad for you.
You know, the V in the peace sign comes from the V in victory. When did it start standing for peace?
I am not completely sure, but I guess it came out of the protest movement against the Vietnam War. Oh, and do not turn your hand around when you do it, especially around British people. It is insulting.
Oh, I didn't know that. You learn something new every day. True, I suppose. Again, unfortunately, I'm very bad when it comes to learning a foreign language. Like, the only class I ever failed in high school was my Spanish class, and I fucking tried. I tried to actually pass that class. I've tried in the past. There's some weird filter where my brain is like, hey, you know, a couple of words I can pick up, but I don't think I'll ever get to the point where I can have a full conversation in a foreign language. Unfortunately.
So, you live alone now?
No, not alone. I've been living in school dormitories since I started junior high. After my mother died, my relatives took me in, but they were not my real family.
You didn't fit in there?
In a way. My aunts were kind to me and all. But I know how difficult it must have been to suddenly have a child thrust into their lives. When you live with someone, there are no secrets. I could tell my being there was a burden on them.
Sounds like a rough childhood.
I would not say that. I was lucky just to have people take me in. There are huérfanos living out in the streets because their mothers died. It is even worse in countries with frequent civil wars. So, who am I to complain about my childhood?
You're a pretty tough kid, you know?
Not at all. I am not strong at all.
That's probably going to become important later, the I'm not strong at all thing.
Playa del Alba means Beach of Dawn. The morning sun is so beautiful over the Caribbean.
Beach of Dawn, huh?
Perfect place to start a mission.
The clear blue water, the white sand, the swaying palm trees. You cannot get more South American than here. It is paradise on earth.
Yeah, guess I should have packed my Hawaiian shirt.
The coral reefs and mangrove forests protect the small fish in the area. Sea turtles come to lay their eggs on these beaches. We are not the only ones who enjoy this place. It is heaven for more than just humans. Bosque del Alba means Forest of Dawn. Naturally, it is situated on the east coast. It is your standard tropical rainforest. Everything you would imagine in a jungle.
No sign of morning sun here.
The foliage is too thick for direct sunlight to hit the floor. I do not know how easy it will be making your way through here.
I'll be fine. This isn't my first trip to a jungle.
I love the callbacks to 3. And I will say... gotcha. And I will say... a couple of little things that I always like to do for disclaimers is if I'm ever playing through a series like this and I have no spoilers, it's in reference to the game that I'm currently playing. Previous games like Metal Gear 2, Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, and Metal Gear Solid 4, I think it's alright to talk about certain aspects of what occurred there, because it's important for a multitude of reasons to the current story, or what have you. I cannot wait to see how many data files we're going to have in the future to go through. That was all before we did a side op of a mission. That's pretty cool. Recover Psych. Might be important later. This is a short mission, though. Yeah, we ain't got a lot to go to choose from right now. Oh! Oh God! This is interesting. They force you not to use Snake. Okay. I know in, again, this is mechanics. I don't really consider this a spoiler, but I know in Metal Gear Solid 5 you could play with a lot of different people.
Use Fulton Recovery to bring back knocked out soldiers. To use Fulton Recovery on a soldier, get up next to them so the icon appears, and push the action button. Hurry up and send those knocked out soldiers back here. Don't mess around or they're gonna wake up.
Didn't think to do that.
Hey!
Looks like that soldier's out cold. Try using Fulton Recovery on him.
Oh.
Okay, you're done with that area. Head for the goal. Good job. Return to base.
Probably could have been a little bit faster there, but whatever. We got 2 people. Cool. I guess A is the highest rank we can get. The fallen words can now be infused with heroic spirit. Here. Hobby magazine layout rank 1. Okay. Personal report. A report has arrived. Okay. Cool. I definitely see where Metal Gear Solid 5 got a lot of its mechanics from playing this game. Hey, rank 2, nice. Various information on nearby enemies. And we've leveled up Alligator. Two new members. Former SAS. Looks like you are, because you're rank E in combat. So he's a tech guy. One. What's the difference? Well, I mean, we're gonna get it, obviously. Bullet speed looks like... No, it's all the same. Okay. I guess it's already technically developed. Hobby magazine. I guess we need more people before we can do that. Oh, we could probably do a couple more calls. Maybe.
The boss has infiltrated the area around the coastal supply facility and knocked out the soldier there. But we
Okay,
can't
I
just
see what.
leave it.
Got it.
Snake, I rigged that radio so you can contact our young lady friend Paz.
Is she okay?
No need to worry. She's tougher than you think.
Still just a kid.
Which is exactly why she could be an effective source of information. Besides, that little Angel de la Paz is the one who gave us this mission, right?
I guess.
I'll put her on.
Snake,
Paz, where are you?
Ciudad Colon. A school. The teacher told me to stay here until things quiet down.
Teacher? Oh, him. He's... Yeah, that's probably good advice.
See, he has a radio in his room, so we can talk anytime.
Pretty fancy for a teacher.
Promise me, Snake, that you'll bring back peace, and...
I know. I'll contact you if I find your friend.
Thank you. Snake, if you need to know about Costa Rica, the geography, the climate, the wildlife, anything.
So we can do codec calls. How the hell do we do that?
History and laws too.
Or with the
We learned it
radio?
all in school.
Got it. I have a question. I'll ask. What?
In school, I also learned that peace is an unnatural state for humans.
We know where she got that from.
And that war is a constant threat to our relationships with others.
That's right.
So, to achieve peace, we have to create it ourselves. Crying about it won't bring it about or make it last. Each one of us must go and seek it out.
You won't find it without making sacrifices. No offense, but I don't know what peace is. Never felt what it's like. Never even been interested in it.
Snake?
Oh, sorry. Listen, Paz, I think your ideas are admirable. I hope they turn out to be right.
Yeah, me too.
Peace is in your name. Who better to help bring it back?
Thanks, Snake. I will be here whenever you need me. See you later.
Snake, use your radio to
Tell me how, Miller.
But stay alert. You're in the middle of a mission and can't afford to let your guard down.
Got it.
Need to know more about Costa Rica? Haas can help you out.
Good to know.
We'll follow their transport route. This should take us straight to their main base.
From what I've seen, it looks like nukes.
Agreed. The key thing now is to confirm whether those spears really are what we think they are, and if so, why they're here.
Follow the transport route. Find the nukes.
That's what I'm thinking. First, we should make contact with the Sandinista Comandante. They can tell us more about what's up ahead. But it looks like their hideout's already come under attack.
We better hope they're still alive.
Snake, infiltrate that cabin and secure the Sandinistas Comandante. Neutralize any guards by knocking them out, putting them to sleep, or even using the Fulton Recovery system. You choose how to handle it.
I'll have to do some of these missions over again with combat, single. Seems that way. Seems Paz is more paramedic from Metal Gear Solid 3. If you're not sure about that, basically paramedic from Metal Gear Solid 3 was the character you would call that would tell you about the flora and fauna of a map location.
Going by this map, you've got a lot of different terrain types between you and the hut where the Sandinista Comandante is being held.
Looks that way, doesn't it? Starting with jungle.
The enemy won't be able to see you very well, but your visibility won't be so hot either. Stay alert. Next, you've got the swamps along the river. Make sure you get a good feel for how robust surveillance is before diving in.
Will do.
Finally, there's the boat repair cabin. The Commandante's in there. It's a key enemy outpost, and security is going to be tight. You may have to let brute force do the talking. You still have a long way to go, Snake. Use caution and don't make a racket out there. Got it?
He says while thinking about using the machine gun. Oh God.
This is a tropical rainforest, just like Bosque del Alba. The temperature and humidity can be brutal. El Senegal means place of mud.
No, mud. Great. I'll watch my step.
This area often gets flooded by the river. There are canals here and there carved out by water.
Good places to hide.
But they will also make it harder for you to see. Be careful, Snake. The There should be a suspension bridge around there.
In lowlands like this?
The ground nearby is harder and higher than usual. The river cut through it, eventually creating a valley. There might be another way to get across the river somewhere.
I wouldn't want to run into someone on the bridge.
The valley tends to be misty, so you might not be able to see the water from up there. Fall and it will leave more than a bump.
I'll be careful.
When a river floods an area, the banks can collapse, creating a marsh. You see a lot of them around here.
I'll need to watch the noise my feet make in El Senegal.
There is a marsh on the other side of the river too. The suspension bridge will take you there.
Okay.
The river running through here is Rio del Jade, or the Jade River.
Jade? Are there minerals around here?
No, it refers to the color of the water. You will have to go to Guatemala for jade.
Doesn't look all that pretty from where I'm standing.
We are still in the rainy season, so the river is a little muddy. It will return to normal once the dry season starts. Rivers are an important means of transport around here. They are relatively calm, and there are plenty of canals along the coast too.
A boat would be more than enough to transport some good-sized cargo.
Like a nuclear weapon.
We don't know enough yet. I'll keep looking.
Thank you, Snake.
Any new files? Doesn't look like it. Alright, mission prep. Can't change it. Oh, there's even a ranking on what it'll be good for. Oh, it just lets us have more ammo on hand. Okay, that's a little bit more useful. Ration. Give me the analyzer. Give me the ration over here. I guess I'll keep the love box. Give me the love box will actually go over here. The Fulton here. Why not? What's our weight looking like? 4.8 kilograms. Kind of heavy. Could take out the M16, but I think we're going to stick with this. After this mission... After this mission, I might end up wrapping up for the evening, because I'm just tired. Had a bout of insomnia last night and couldn't get to sleep. And only got a couple of hours of sleep when I did go to sleep. Country Without an Army, Chapter 1. Wow, we were still technically in the opening of that. Because apparently the more we use a weapon, the more it ranks up. I'm not going to worry about it, but I think at some point I'll get the M16 leveled up, even if I have to quote-unquote level grind.
Head for the FSLN boathouse. It's northwest of there.
Oh, this is interesting.
You can use the radio you just picked up by pressing the start button to open the menu window. You know you can assign the radio to the select button by choosing options from the menu window. This is Miller, hearing you loud and clear. You know you can assign the radio to the select button by choosing options from the menu window. Not enough room, huh? We'll keep it here at the base. A truck from the coastal facility. Huh. But it's not carrying any cargo.
No, that's not exactly what I wanted to do. also.
Fulton Recovery helicopter is complete.
Oh. Weird, okay. Also, the silencer lasts longer. There's something over here I need to collect.
That area is not part of the mission.
How do you change codec number?
Head for the FSLN hideout, Snake.
Oh, it's random. I don't like that. I do not like that.
Is in your hands.
That kind of sucks. Oh, so we... Okay. This is a weird map. Only those 2 guards. I'm assuming that this area is going to have more guards than what we've been dealing with so far. Oh, you have to be pretty close to that.
Wait. Can't be imagining things.
One, 2. That's kind of funny. You can see what their code name's going to be. Worst case scenario, we can just expel troops.
Fulton Recovery subject confirmed onboard helicopter.
That are no longer useful. To be a little bit faster. These areas are pretty straightforward, it seems. We can't swim in this one, that's a shame. And it does seem like the straightforwardness is a little bit disappointing in my mind. I thought this mission was going to be longer. So we've dealt with 5 guards so far.
The boathouse should be close by. Neutralize the security detail and make contact with the Commandante.
What is it?
Someone attacking? The enemy's attacking! Going to alert status!
Understood. Maintain heightened alert.
Nice shot. God damn, I'm good.
Good. Now meet with the FSLN Commandante. He's inside the boathouse.
Contact the Dinasta Commandante. Mission complete. Could have probably taken them all out loud, but like non-lethal so far.
Stay away! Don't touch me! Get away!
¿Quién es? Eche? No way. What do we do?
Sandinista's right. I'm looking for someone.
Mi viejo! Shh! He's dead. They killed nuestro viejo.
You're his daughter. Then that makes you his delegado, right? Relax, I'm not your enemy.
Then why the fuck would you point the gun at them?
Cuban.
A cigar? I'll take whatever you've got. I owe you one. But I prefer cigarettes, you know. How do I look? A little like El Che, no? You Cubano?
Colombiano, a photographer. I came to Costa Rica to take pictures of birds.
Birds?
Yeah, quetzals.
You've got no telephoto lens. How do you get your shots?
Telephotos for amateurs. It's all in the timing.
Oh.
Let me smoke
Okay,
too.
we can talk until I finish this. Chico!
Tell me what's going on here.
This place is crawling with soldiers.
More responsible than
They
most
don't look
people.
like private security. More like hired guns. They're loaded with the latest gear from all over the world.
I heard they're a security force hired by Codessa.
Yeah, and I'm Papa Noel. Those guys are UCLAs.
UCLA's.
Lacia.
I saw them, setting up shop in town. They're planning to do here what they did in Chile.
If that's the case, what are they after?
Whatever it is, it's not us.
You don't think they're here to push you back into Nicaragua?
Impossible. Too much hardware. Too many bases. Didn't you see? They've got helicopters, tanks.
They're not
it's
gonna
like
do
we're in
the-
Da Nang. There must be something else.
Okay.
They have a base near here.
There's a factory to the north, across a suspension bridge.
Factory to the north, across a bridge.
Oh.
Have you seen the big transport boat, mercenary crew on the Rio del Jade?
You mean the barge? It's upstream from here. Up toward Irasu.
Any idea what's on it?
I could introduce you to some of our compas up there, but I don't recommend going to the mountains. We've lost a lot of people there. They take us captive, torture us for information about our compas, and then they kill us like pigs.
Got it. All right.
This was our last hideout, the final refuge for El Frente, after being pushed out of Nicaragua and into this peaceful paradise of Costa Rica. Then, El Monstruo attacked.
A monster.
Y mi viejo. Mi viejo. Papá. He was la esperanza. Our hope.
Now that Papa's gone, my sister's la comandante de la revolución.
Do not listen to him. Papa was a hero who fought by Sandino's side. I am only his daughter. You need a special talent to become cacique. It takes someone great to unite all of Las Compas.
Sorry to interrupt, but leaders don't choose themselves. Neither do heroes. You carry on his legacy of La Esperanza, and they'll follow you, no question.
You think so? My compas trust me, but not one of them calls me comandante.
Amanda!
See what I mean?
El Colibri!
That was a perfectly good cigar. Well, the music's hype as fuck. It's a little silly, but I love this.
What the hell?
Es un hombre nuevo, an unmanned weapon, a robot. Chico!
No, he won't survive the fall.
Out of my way! Better for him to die at the hand of a compa than suffer their torture. Stay here. As long as I'm still alive, I might as well be king. Over here! Find Chico! ¡Venceremos!
All right. Do we get another mission briefing, or do we go right into the next mission? So, okay, right. Mission briefing and all that. Got it. I bet we can do... I bet you there's better than A. Got 5 soldiers. Oh, we got the M1911A1.
Snake, what was that thing?
Whatever it was, it looked unmanned.
Unmanned? I'd heard rumors, but an operational unit?
What the hell is going on here?
Not to quote Amanda, but the hardware they've got here isn't just unusual. It's overkill, which means one thing. It's nukes. So the question now becomes why?
We can't make that call yet. We need more intel.
How? Our source is dead.
But his daughter isn't.
Good thinking. We can follow her. Head for the next outpost and make contact with Amanda if she's still alive.
Roger.
We need to get Pico. That I think we'll be doing tomorrow. Let's do some other base stuff really fast, see if there's any other stuff we can do. Hey, we got the law. Nice. Alligator leveled up again. Oh, everyone got a little bit of a gear up. Imagine if only we had a guy like you running the country. Maybe my village wouldn't have been burned to the ground. Handguns have short range and low firepower, but they've got great accuracy at close range and higher caliber ammo that stops targets in their tracks. And if you know when and how to use them, you can conserve your rifle ammo. That's a quote from the boss. I learned it by heart. With word about NSF going around, no wonder there are more volunteers who want to join. Retreating is always an option. Last war I was in, I had attached an extra weapon to the barrel of my assault rifle. Kind of tricky to switch between them, but once you get used to it, you'll wonder how you ever got on without it. Sounds like my entire run of Metal Gear Solid 4. M1C rank 1. That is a knockout rifle. Smoke nade. There we go, that's what I was waiting for. That'll become useful later. And plus, with how we're possibly going to be... Oh, we just got it, okay. With how we're going to be replaying missions and stuff in the future, possibly. didn't want to do that. But yeah, it's kind of a short one today, but I'm tired. I'm probably gonna lay down and try and get some sleep. So considering I'm gonna do a quick save and wrap up. Well, I'd like to say for those of you that are new here, if you haven't already, be sure to become a citizen today via subscriber to this channel as well as my main channel. If you're watching on YouTube, links will be down in the description below through all my links and streamer links. Or you can catch me on all of my associated sites, be it Twitch, where you can follow me over there. Catch me when I go live at 6 p.m. EST, EDT every single day, at least for the year of 2022. Join the community Discord to get the most accurate notifications of whenever I do go live, if I'm going to be a little bit late or early to a stream, as well as communicate with other members of the community. Oh, you can also follow me on Twitter, where I pretty much only ever post when I'm going live there. A couple referral links to survey sites and whatever else catches your fancy. If you're watching on the Twitch highlight, you can type !links and get access to those same very links. With all that said and done, however, that is going to be it for me for the time being. So, till next time, YouTube and Twitch highlight watchers, take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.